What if you could take every single setback, every frustration you feel, and actually turn it into a source of strength? Well, that's the powerful idea we're diving into today, all inspired by the incredible wisdom of Kazuko Watanabe. It's a simple shift in how you look at things, but it can change absolutely everything.
I mean, we all do it, right? It's almost a reflex. When things go wrong, we point fingers. It's because of my job, or it's because of them. But what if that very act of blaming is what's keeping us stuck? What if we could just flip that whole script?
So here's our roadmap. First, we're going to tackle that habit of blame head-on. Then, we'll talk about the power of accepting the things we just can't change. After that, we'll get into how to find real meaning in suffering. And finally, we'll bring it all home by learning to live with this beautiful Japanese concept of Okagesama.
All right, let's start with the mental trap that so many of us fall into, often without even knowing it. In Japanese, there's a word for this, sai. It's that mindset of blame where you see yourself as just a victim of circumstance, feeling like life is just happening to you.
And this right here, this is the fundamental choice. It's the fork in the road for your thoughts. On the left, you've got no say, which is framing everything negatively because of this bad thing. But on the right, you have no okage, which means thanks to this. The entire teaching is about learning to consciously, intentionally choose that okage path every single day.
Okay, so how do we start making that switch? It's not about just slapping a smile on your face and pretending everything's great. No, the very first step is actually something much more real. It's about accepting reality for what it is. This seems so simple, but it is the absolute bedrock of finding any kind of inner peace. Just think about how much energy we burn, how much time we waste, getting angry about things that are completely out of our control. The point here isn't to give up. It's to be smart with your energy and aim your courage where it can actually make a difference.
And this famous prayer, which Watanabe brings up, just says it all perfectly. You've got serenity for what is, courage for what can be, and then the wisdom to tell them apart. You know that wisdom? That's the key. That's what unlocks the door and gets you out of that prison of blame. Now we're getting to the toughest part, and maybe the most life-changing. I mean, it's one thing to feel grateful when life is good, but what about when you're really truly suffering? This is where Watanabe offers a pretty radical shift in how we approach hardship.
Okay, look closely here because the difference in the Japanese is tiny, but the shift in mindset is massive. On the left, the hope is for the suffering to just go away. But on the right, the hope is to be changed by the suffering. It's such a powerful reframe. You go from being a passive victim of your pain to an active participant in the growth that pain can actually offer you.
And what this means is that hardship stops being just some obstacle you have to endure. When you change your relationship with it, it becomes a catalyst. It actually forces you to see things differently, and it's in that struggle that we often find our most important breakthroughs.
So this whole journey of acceptance and reframing, it leads us to this beautiful way of life, living with Okagesama. This is where everything we've talked about comes together, not just as a nice idea, but as something you do every single day.
You know, Okagesama is so much more than a simple thank you. It's a state of being. It's this constant, deep-down awareness that our lives are supported by a million blessings, big and small, visible and invisible, that we usually just take for granted. This feeling of being connected to everything is so central. We're reminded that we're always receiving favors and blessings from the world. Our ability to learn, to eat, to work, it all depends on this huge web of other people and things. From this point of view, we're all living with a kind of beautiful, wonderful debt of gratitude that we can never truly repay.
So what does this actually look like in real life? It's about consciously reframing things. So, you stumble. That's not a failure. That's, thanks to this, I'm thinking more carefully now. You make a mistake. It's not a disaster. It's, thanks to this, I won't do that again. Even your age. Being young means, thanks to this, I have time. Being old means, thanks to this, I have wisdom. See? Every single situation becomes a chance to find the okage, the reason to be thankful.
When you boil it all down, it's a practice. It's a daily habit of how you choose to see the world. Just the simple act of looking for something to be thankful for, especially on the tough days, is what changes you. It's about ending your day not by replaying all the bad stuff, but by actively searching for those hidden blessings. So, look, life is always going to give you reasons to blame. That's a guarantee. The real question is, what are you going to choose to do with them? How will you take the raw material of your challenges and use this principle of Okagesama to turn it into a foundation of gratitude and strength? Because the power to make that shift,
That's all yours.